He's the one who is the ancestor for all modern day songs.
Right.
He basically invented TikTok for their generation. To do. He decided to stay back in Italy, in Rome.
Okay. Right.
As a monk.
Because he became a monk? Wow, okay.
What is so special about Beethoven? Why are people so obsessed with him? People are obsessed with Mozart as well, but Beethoven is something else. Everybody's when you start playing piano and they're like, oh, look at this Beethoven here. They talk about Beethoven as if he's a figure of God in music. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think historically, from what I know, Mozart had come just before Beethoven, and he perhaps laid the groundwork for Beethoven. And when Beethoven finally got to enter the scene, things were already set for him to excel at. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, that is right. In a lot of ways, that's exactly what happened. But the reason why people know Beethoven or adore Beethoven so much is because he changed the stature of what a musician is. He basically elevated a musician from being a lackey for the aristocrat to an entity in itself. A musician is a renowned title. Before, a kapell master and things like that were renowned, yes, among the peasants. They were still considered a little higher class peasant whom they can tolerate because they had a little more culture. This was the sort of perception what the aristocrats and the courts and even the generals and all had towards musicians. They respected them, their work and things like that, but they didn't really consider them great. For example, Mozart died when Beethoven was very young, and when Mozart died, they were very upset that Mozart died, but then there was not a huge funeral for him. You know how big a name Mozart is, right? People were so enamored with his excellence, with his prodigal talent. They were really interested in what music he created. But when he grew up, he didn't find a lot of jobs. He was pushed around quite a bit. He couldn't find financial stability either. He was having a lot of problems. And Beethoven knew a lot about Mozart's life. He was groomed also to be a future prodigy for a successor to Mozart. In such a way that Beethoven's father used to sometimes lie about his age just so he can match Mozart's prodigal talents and how he used to perform around the world. Beethoven was well set to go to Vienna to get tutored under Mozart, but he passed away. When the time came, Haydn took him under, and Beethoven did not like it at all. He had this pressure on him that he has to become the next Mozart, and he tried his best to replicate a few things and do some great things. But later on, he started becoming a rebel. Beethoven was enchanted by Napoleon's conquests and the idea what Napoleon was bringing, that a person who's from the streets, from Corsica, unknown land, a normal peasant, a child of a non-aristocrat, will have enough sway through his merit to rise up the ranks. And once he comes to power, everything will change. He will work for the people. And that's when he used to write a lot of songs for him and was dedicating a symphony for Napoleon, the Symphony No. 3. He almost was going to name it after him, but finally, when Napoleon took over, he crowned himself emperor, and Beethoven was very disappointed. This period, it's very important to understand. Beethoven had a lot of success during his time. He did great symphonies. He was awaited Mozart's successor, who got a lot of recognition and a lot of requests to come and play through aristocrats. But still, he was never financially stable because there was hyperinflation. Austrian Empire was every time invaded, and he was hoping Napoleon will come to Austria and lead them as well. He was considered a German in the Austrian land. They did not really respect him for what he did. And at a certain point, he pushed the rules of the classical music to such lengths that he decided that he will have to start breaking a few rules. He became a rebel, and also by this time he started realizing that he's going to go deaf. He started hearing songs much softer than before. This really changed him. He moved to outskirts of Vienna into a small town, and he started becoming a loner there. He did not interact with anyone in the village. A lot of people started considering him to be very snobbish.
Right.
Like he doesn't want to talk to the peasants now. He just wants aristocrats, and he considers himself a
Right.
king, is what the gossip was around. And he heard those gossips and he used to feel very bad, but he could not
Right.
afford to let the news that he's going deaf spread, because
I see.
if he does that, then his career is over. Even though
Right.
he writes the best symphony of all time, which he did, by the way, the symphony number 9, Ode to Joy, was written when he was deaf.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
also, Ode to Joy later became, I think, for a bit, the anthem for the Germans, right?
I don't know if it was Ode to Joy, which was the anthem.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
see.
it is a very famous,
Right.
very popular tune. One of the
Yeah.
it's the most popular classical tune, actually, if
Right.
anyone knows. So this really got him to a point where he started realizing that he can do whatever he wants now, and he wrote Symphony Number 5. Da 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 da. This-
Right. Yes.
When he launched this, people were shocked, because this sort of tune, this sort of presentation in a concert hall, he booked a concert hall
Right.
and he invited people to come, and he played ta, 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 this.
Hmm.
Everybody was blown away. Back then there was no TV. Musicians were there, but they didn't really hear loud big bands and things like that. If there
Right.
was a concert opera, they would more like sing or a sad song. And this really brings a transition. He marks the end of classical era and he marks the
Okay.
beginning of romantic era.
I see.
Basically, he became a star showing what his emotions are by just putting all his emotions into music. It was not about what classically accurate you can do,
Right.
mathematically accurate you can play, how much theory you know. That and all was classical
I see.
period. That is all in the past. He wanted people to see him, and he wanted
Right.
to be seen that this is his music and this is how people should revere musicians, because we make you feel anything, not these kings or
Right.
aristocrats who just throw some money. So this sort of mindset is what Beethoven brought into musicians.
I see. So he brings that rock star mindset to music.
Funny you say that.
Ah, I see. Okay, interesting. Although not Beethoven though, so there's somebody who is an actual rock star.
Yes, I mean, you're partially right with what Beethoven did with that Fifth Symphony concert. Was sort of glimpsing us into what a future rock star would be like. But Liszt is the one who turned a musician into celebrity.
Before we get into him, I had a question about like this evolution. So
Mhm.
before, aristocrats used to have musicians and composers on their payroll. That is how they could do this kind of work. Did that change with Beethoven and Liszt as we go along? Was it more kind of freelanced, music?
This is a very good question. I will start from the Baroque era. This is where the composers would be hired by either church or each aristocrat. They would hire them for playing their own musical themes, composing things for them. And they were getting paid to compose, to do whatever they love.
I see.
But this should be in mind that the person whom they are composing it for should like it. Like the church,
Right.
the people who come to the church should like it. The head of church should also be happy with the music performance and so on. These things were the requirements. In classical period, the aristocrats started getting a little more hands-on with their music. They wanted to play music as well. And once they wanted to play music, they wanted competent people to play music with. They wanted to push their boundaries. This is the period of Renaissance. So they learned musical theory, they learned everything from scratch, and they wanted to play with the best players. So they had the money. They would invite, instead of church inviting them, they would pay more than the church, and they would be like, you come and play and be part of my orchestra. And we can play it, and we'll travel to other kingdoms, we'll travel to other places and play with other orchestras. But you come and join me. We will be a band,
I see.
sort of thing.
Okay.
This was still the case for a long time. Like in Vienna, they would commission this person to write something for them. Like Beethoven was commissioned to write something like this.
I see. Right.
And if it was published, other people would look at it and learn more from it and try to recreate it elsewhere.
Okay.
Beethoven, you're right. from a classical era to romantic era, this changed. People were
I
not
see.
doing it for the aristocrats anymore. But the reason was not Beethoven. The reason was French Revolution.
Right. Nationalism.
Right. So
Right.
when French Revolution came, everybody flocked to France. Chopin from Poland went to France. Liszt from Hungary went to France. Wagner also went to Switzerland, but there were a lot of people who went to France who were persecuted elsewhere. And France became like the hotbed for people to learn new music and also innovate and experiment. So let's talk about Liszt for some time now. Liszt is a very unique musician. He was more popular than any other musician during his time. And yeah, after that, his popularity fell off. Then it came back again. And now not a lot of people know about him.
Yeah, I haven't heard of his name compared to Beethoven and Mozart.
The main reasons is because Liszt was not considered a great composer. He was a great virtuoso. He was a player. He did a lot of performances very well. And he is considered one of the most adept pianists in the world. I mean, they consider him and Chopin to be the best pianists in the world. But Chopin used to compose a lot of things as well, which was very famous. I will learn more, hear more of him. Liszt also did compose a lot of tunes, but Liszt, during his time, his composition was ridiculed. Symphonies and all were ridiculed. But Liszt created a niche for himself. He found a bunch of ladies who used to go behind him. So he would go and perform on stage, catering to those ladies, and he had long hair. Between the notes, he would just flick his hair to show his face. He would look at people. He would talk while playing piano. He would just read first time, never played music. He just read it and played completely fluently. He was bombarded with women onto the stage. People would throw their handkerchiefs or steal his cigar buds or just climb on top of him. Every time he used to be like the real rock star, how he goes around. Back then, there were no roads, there were no autobahns or anything. He used to still carry his piano and go city to city around Europe on a tour.
My God, wow, right.
He had a lot of personal stories which were very exciting. He was dating a married woman for some time, and the woman publicly declared that she wants to break up with her husband and be with Liszt. But because she was a Catholic, she needed Pope's approval to get the divorce. So she and Liszt went to the Pope. They spoke to him and they got the approval, and they were like, okay, thanks for the approval. We'll go and get married now in a couple of days. His girlfriend's husband was very angry with that decision. So he wrote to Pope and told, cancel this right now and use his connections. And just a day before he was getting married to her, Pope rescinded the proclamation.
Oh no, okay.
So yeah, she was
didn't get married?
No, he didn't get married to her.
Oh no.
He was married before that to someone else, but
I see.
He didn't get married to her.
Did he not then decide to go to England and get married over there?
Could have done. There's a very interesting story about him in England as well. He was famous around the mainland Europe, but in England he was a flop.
Oh no. Oh, poor guy can't even go to England to get married.
He went and performed a few times in London, and he was not well received. They called him flamboyant and not very musically adept. He tries to play and rush through chords, rush through songs, and he was the first person. Before, there were songs were 4 to 5 movements, and each movement was 6-7 minutes, and the whole piece would last around 20-25 minutes. Liszt brought it down to 10 minutes and 8 minutes and 5 minutes. He's the one who is the ancestor for all modern day songs.
Right.
He basically invented TikTok for their generation.
Okay. I see. Yeah, I was also just thinking, if he was in today's day and age, he would have loved it with all the attention he would get on Instagram and TikTok.
He got so much attention that they actually named a mania after him. They call it Lisztomania.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So all the girls just going and falling onto a rock star rodeos and all, they have Lisztomania, they say. That was from him. That's why he's the first rock star.
Interesting. Interesting.
So once the marriage got cancelled, guess what he decided to do? He decided to stay back in Italy, in Rome,
Okay.
as
Right.
a monk.
Because oh, he became a monk? Wow. Okay. Oh no. And he was in Rome, I guess, to go talk to the Pope and get the approval
Yeah.
for the wedding. Ah, I see.
He
Oh, man.
tried for a few years and he didn't
Okay.
get it, so he became a monk. And it
Poor
was like
Liszt.
a running joke everywhere in the music world back then that
Mhm.
Liszt, a chronic alcoholic, a person who womanizes every day, like, they didn't talk about drugs, but yeah, that could also be one of it. I don't think drugs was a taboo back then. So
Yeah, I mean, what would be Napoleonic drugs? I wonder.
tobacco, yeah.
True. Yeah, alcohol
Exactly,
and
cigar.
tobacco. Yeah. Right.
Alcohol and cigar. He was always with a whiskey and cigar in his hand. So him becoming a monk, they were like, there were so many jokes going around. People were like, oh, I think this is just a marketing trick. Because he used to do a lot of marketing tricks like that, like this. He would do something very, like he retired from concert and then because he's married, then he would divorce her and go on concert. And people will be like, oh, return of Liszt, let's go. And he would sell out all the tickets. So they would be like,
Okay.
this is another marketing trick. We go monk and then he'll have a return. Which he did have, by the way. He was still a monk, but he was going around touring and he was still performing and smashing it.
Okay. It's like modern day YouTubers saying, I'm closing this channel. This is going to be my last video.
I was talking about how Beethoven was so important, right? Liszt was a great admirer of Beethoven. He also was a follower of Beethoven's last teaching. Once Beethoven introduced the Romantic era, it was split into two. One, focusing more on showmanship and making it more attractive for the public, mass audience, give people what they want. And the second was a bunch of people who were interested in going beyond the classical limits of basically expressing your emotions. And Robert Schumann and Brahms were part of this philosophy, and Liszt and Wagner were part of the other philosophy, where they wanted to make it grand. They wanted to express, of course, but they also thought art form shouldn't be limited to one particular thing. Art form should be everything. So that was Wagner's philosophy. Gesamtkunstwerk, basically the total showmanship sort of thing.
I see.